Disclaimer, we'd like to note before the start of this interview that the opinions about to be expressed by the guest on tonight's Gettin Salty Experience podcast are that of the guest and do not directly or necessarily reflect the views of the host of the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
Put the fucking fire out!
You're listening to the Gettin Salty Experience podcast.
Hello, indeed. We are back. Haven't had a live show in a while, right, Ruff?
No, man.
Whoa, there it is. Jose's back in. Haven't seen that guy in a while.
Where's a duck?
It's a chicken.
He's kind of wearing his shirt for it, too. It's kind of fitting because he knew.
Welcome back to the Get Told the Experience podcast. The only one, even though Delaney steals it, that brings the Firehouse Kitchen table to you. You got a funny guy out tonight. Been to a couple of good places too.
My face hurts already. We're not even out of the pre-show yet.
Can't even feel my face.
I can't feel my face.
Thanks for all the well wishes for the surgery. I'm feeling good. Might have to stand up in a little while though. It's getting a cramp.
If you guys haven't noticed, he's even taller in the chair.
Looks a little taller.
Wish it was a little bit taller. Wish it was a baller. Yeah, man.
He's definitely sitting on a pad or something.
I'm not sitting. No, I'm not.
Yeah, he's sitting on the shit ring. You know, he's got the hemorrhoid ring going. He's like,
when I see you in Harrisburg, you're like, holy shit, his legs are straight now. No more horse legs.
No more walking over hydrants. I'm like, what? Oh, the hydrant back there? No, none of that shit. No more of that.
It is going to be a little weird. That's a long time with them crooked fucking wings you got there.
Yeah, no, indeed.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Oh, I saw in the chat there's somebody's birthday today. Did you see that?
No, whose birthday is it? It's it is Procaccini's birthday.
Procaccini's birthday.
Happy birthday, Procaccini.
Yeah. Mrs. Procaccini husband.
Yeah,
Mrs.
something
Procaccini's
like
husband.
Yeah, for sure.
I hope he gets a nice present tonight.
Oh, he'll get something.
Something.
Yeah. John Albanese was asking for prayers too. He had a pretty big heart attack.
Is it true that he was out? Like they brought him back to life?
That's
Stay away from the light, little buddy.
To me, he sends prayers for John Albanese. He said it had a big heart attack, and
oh man, Johnny, I'll put you on the rosary tonight, Johnny. Stay away from the light, little buddy.
Yeah,
stay away from the light.
They did CPR on him and everything. So
don't go to the light.
I got compressions.
Yeah.
Oh, come on! They don't do the breathing anymore.
You still have to do. You have to do two of them depending on what you're doing. But I'm not doing two. I don't want to do two anymore. No, I'm just kidding. Just give me a vapor barrier. We're good.
Pucker up there, Kubi.
Yeah. I've got a haircut. Looks like.
No. I'm letting it grow, so it's growing a little differently.
Zhuzh in it.
I got a little too much, I think, today. But you know, whatever.
There's my girl Cindy Drake. She's in there. Also. Let's get some prayers out to Hank, senior dude, Mole. He just had open heart surgery. He's on the mend. He's doing well. He walked a mile today. So the senior man wishes all the Leatherhead Nation well. Let's say some prayers for Hank.
Absolutely.
Found a heart again on him.
I found the heart on him. I told him it was like the Grinch's one. Remember the Grinch's one? It's a tiny little one.
It grows.
Yeah.
He had something with his heart. We made a big banner when he came back, and
I found the heart. It was cheesy though. We put it on a sheet. I think I helped you made it actually. But
get well soon. We're glad you
like
found your heart.
The tiger and what is it, Wizard of Oz? If I only had a heart, what was it?
Tiger. Wow. Speaking of tigers, we got some on tonight, bro.
Oh, sure.
Hold on, let me practice.
You gotta do the.
I don't have a damn cat sound effect. I need to get one. I'll work on one of those.
Hopefully, I got Tiger One's in there tonight. I talked to him.
You got to get the Coobs, the woo woo.
Oh, woo woo on the back. Woo 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 woo. We got to ask Sal if he had the woo woo on his helmet. He probably did.
He had it.
He's laughing back there. Yes, no. Tell me yes. I'll tell. He's yelling at us like I can hear him. I can't.
I would never.
Hear us.
I would woo woo. I would never woo you. That was the honeymooners. Woo woo.
Yes. All right, guys. Let's get through some commercials really quick, man.
Yeah. All right. Here we go, Mr. Armor Tough.
Need a new floor for your fire station? Choose an Armor Tough interlocking flooring system to cover your aging, stained, cracked concrete or epoxy floor. Around for nearly 20 years and proven to be the best choice in renovating your station floors, covering nearly 600 floors across the country, Armor Tough is proudly made in America and comes with a lifetime warranty with floors that are usually installed in 1 or 2 days, depending on the size of your station, and no disruption in the process to your station's operations. Our system is guaranteed from chipping, cracking, peeling, breaking, or staining. The tiles are stain resistant and impervious to chemicals or volatiles that are used in the fire service. If you damage one tile, you can lift and replace without anyone knowing. And once it's installed, your floor would be easy to clean with just soap and water. It's not only for apparatus rooms. You can install an Armor Tough floor in virtually any room and choose from the hundreds of colors from the Designer Series or, if you like, from the Utility Series floor coverings. Are you in need of gear racks, an extractor, or gear dryers? Install an Armor Tough floor in your apparatus bay and take full advantage of a deep discount, saving you thousands of dollars on any of the Grove products line. Why install a breakable epoxy floor that'll need replacing in 5 to 10 years when you could have a floor that will last a lifetime? The Armor Tough flooring system is half the price of epoxy and will last a lifetime without issue, more importantly. Join the hundreds of career and volunteer departments nationwide who have chosen an Armor Tough interlocking tile floor. Call Vince today for a no-obligation quote at 908-917-7697.
And you know who's going to be your new representative out in the Upper East Coast here, right? In Long Island?
For
this guy, Armor Tough, bro. Rafran was like, you are not, no way. Yes, I am. Will be Vincent's rep in Long Island as soon as I'm up and about walking again. So I will put all the information out there.
Hello, Mr. George. How much you pay for the new guy?
The floor.
$20.
Too much money.
Too
No,
much
too
money.
much.
too much money.
Yes.
Operator.
I'll be going to your firehouse to tell you all about Armor Tough. But before that, look at who I was just asking about this guy the other day, wasn't I, Roof?
Mike Kelly.
That's two.
What animal are you?
Two for Mike Kelly.
Look at that guy.
That son of a gun. We're going to have him back on.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to the next one quickly. Come on.
Here we go.
Established in 1930 and under the current ownership since 1987, the New Jersey Fire Equipment Company handles a complete line of fire department equipment and supplies. Headquartered in Greenbrook, the company operates full 3M Scott service facilities in Ridgefield Park and Toms River, staffed by 10 fully authorized Scott certified technicians with a fleet of 6 fully equipped service vans. All New Jersey fire technicians and sales representatives are active or retired firefighters, officers or chief officers, career and volunteer. They understand the business and the importance of their work. New Jersey Fire has represented Scott since Earl Scott entered the SCBA business at the end of World War II. Among other leading manufacturers represented by New Jersey Fire are Globe and Firedex Turnout Gear, Mercedes Hose, Task Force Tips and Akron Brass, Hygenol, Firehooks, Arctic Compressors, MSA Carnes Helmets, ChemGuard Foam, Alkalite and Duo Safety Ladders, BA Face Shield Protectors, Truckman's Choice Saws, Grove's Gear Racks and Washer Dryers, Supervac Fans, RPI, Streamlight, and many others. A New Jersey incorporated and based company, sales and service are limited to the state of New Jersey. Find us now at www.njfe.com. That's www.njfe.com.
Wonderful. And last but not least, we'll do these. That way we have nothing left. Let's just do the you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, sure. Oh, here we go.
The First Responders Center for Excellence is a not-for-profit organization dedicated to protecting the lives and livelihoods of first responders. Their education and research initiatives aim to bring greater awareness and understanding to the challenges to the health, safety, and well-being of firefighters, EMS personnel, and other first responders, too. They are an affiliate of the National Fallen Firefighter Foundation.
And me and Ruffy, I just went for my annual checkup with Rob Brown. Soup the nuts, bro. Get the cardiac CT scan, get it all, learn about it early. You want to live a long time. Yeah. You want to collect that pension for a while. You don't want to be like my old man, right? Bro. My father died like 3-4 years later, retired, and then he died. Same thing with my brother. Get out there, get yourself checked out. All right, Ruff.
Oh, you ready?
Let's get him in.
No, he's ready. He's like,
he's chopping at the big, bro.
Yeah.
Here
we go. Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, coming to the stage, Lieutenant Sal Mirra.
What's going on, guys?
Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, well, we used to run into each other all the time. We were just shooting the shit. We're reminiscing about the times that he was up. We were one digit off.
I wish I had a cat. I'm gonna find one.
You have a cat, don't you?
No, I don't have a damn cat. I got a goat.
Forget about it.
It's not really up there.
That's pretty good for him.
Yeah.
Let's do the pledge first. Come on.
Yeah, gotcha. And then we'll roll it. Here we go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is not a tiger, is it, Casey? He says legend has it that his shadow once killed the dog. Is that true? No?
That's from a movie. That's a movie.
Is it?
I don't know. All right. Are you ready?
Yeah,
Ready
man.
to go.
All right, here we
Let's
go.
do it.
I'm
What do
going
you
to turn it over to Lieutenant Salvatore Mirra and the members of Ladder 120.
Good afternoon. My name is Lieutenant Salvatore Mirra, Ladder 120. We were at the firehouse when the alarm came in. We received a report of a fire in the building behind me. And on arrival, we had multiple people advising us before we even got in the building that there was still an occupant trapped in apartment 4 Bravo. So we knew that we had somebody in there that definitely needed to get tended to. So myself and my inside team immediately ascended to the 4th floor, where when we met in the stairwell, we came out of the stairwell on the 4th floor. We had a heavy smoke condition, and we knew we had to get in there because, like we said, we knew somebody was in there and they were trapped. We made our way to the door. We forced the door to apartment 4 boy, and upon initially doing our searches, once we passed the hallway by the kitchen area, we found an unconscious victim on the floor, which was the victim that people were referring to that was trapped. I immediately radioed to the command post that we found a unconscious civilian and that we were going to prepare to package the patient and remove the patient outside of the fire area, which later on one of our firefighters brought them down to EMS. EMS transported to the hospital, and we're just hoping for the most positive outcome that we can have. And I just want to say everyone did a fantastic job. This is what we trained for. This was a live opportunity to practice what we trained for, and everyone's teamwork was the reason today was so successful. So I just want to commend the guys and girls that were here today. Everyone did a fantastic job.
Wow, I didn't know you were so popular, but I know you're a movie star. Look at you.
Dude, I have to ask you before we even get started, like, how nerve-wracking is that to do, like, with all of that stuff going on there? Were you like freaking?
Yeah.
Well, so if you focus on the microphone, that's what it is. You don't look at anybody else.
We actually went back to the firehouse, and the press desk called, and they said, you got to go back to the scene right away. National television media is there, and they got to interview you and find out.
No way. So you had to think about it, too.
So I'm like, oh, boy, what are they going to ask exactly? So I have no idea, but are you ready to
Were
go?
you scared? Did it look at you?
I mean, like I said, I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, I just hope they're not like, are you a hero? And what was the first question they asked? Do you consider yourselves heroes? I'm like, how do you answer that without being?
You say hero's nothing but a sandwich. That's what you said.
Heroes, what I put on my.
What do you mean, like Italian?
So I tried to give them the most appropriate answer, so to make it sound.
I did it good, man.
You know, it was even scarier. It was scary. It was that guy's helmet standing next to him. Holy shit, man!
I have another little clip here too of it's only 28 seconds. Here, watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To being a hero, this is what we signed up to do. We do it every day. We do it with pride. We do it with joy. We're here to help the community, and we're happy to do it. It's another day in the office for us here. It's our job. It's our life. So are we heroes? Some might say so, but to us, it's a job, and we love doing it. We do it with passion, and we come here every day to do it with a smile on our face.
Now he's fielding questions.
That was bubble. See, he didn't have to think about that. That bubbled right out.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
I
see the
still
chief
get that
behind
from
him?
time to time till this day. Hey, Sal, just another day in the office,
But see the chief
Listen,
behind
there
him?
ain't nothing you're gonna say that you ain't gonna hear for the rest of your life.
Oh my God, dude! How many phone calls you get on that one?
I forgot. I went back to the firehouse. I had like 54 messages, 12 phone calls, and like I said, I still get, you know the deal, Sal. It's just another day in the office, I guess.
Did the chief behind you say anything?
Yeah, he had a couple words. And
no, I was gonna say behind you, he was smirking when you said another day in the office. He kind of was holding back a chuckle.
Dude, I thought that was perfect. That's perfect.
Yeah.
When you
It
said
was
that,
off
the
the
guys,
cuff. Like I said, I didn't know what they were asking me, so this is what I threw back at them.
when you said that you guys packaged him, did that mean you grabbed him by the ankles and banged his head the whole way down the stairs? Is that what you meant?
Sort of.
That could have happened. Maybe it happened. Allegedly, it happened. Yeah.
Maybe.
What'd you guys get for that? Anybody get a unit or an A or anything?
We put in for a unit.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Man, Sal.
So, yeah.
I was thinking about the whole unit. You know what I'm saying, Roofy?
Collective effort.
A
collective effort.
Collective.
That's what we do. There's no I's.
No I.
No I in team.
There's an E in me. There's an E in me, though.
There's an I in unit, though.
There is. Excellent. All right, so we got to get even before that, man. Give us a little bit where Salvatore grew up. Where you grew up, why you became a fireman, what the childhood was like, your mom, your dad, your brothers, whatever.
So I originally I was born and raised in Brooklyn for the Sheepshead Bay, Brooklyn.
Come on, I would have never figured that.
Yeah, I was born in Maimonides Hospital in Brooklyn. I was there in Brooklyn, Sheepshead Bay, till about 1988, and then we moved out to Long Island to Old Westbury, and I basically lived there until I found my future wife at the time, who's now my wife, obviously, and we moved to Roslyn, and I've been here ever since now.
Roslyn.
Never had any family on the job. I was first generation fire department. Always wanted to do it. Always was interested when I was like a little kid. I know a lot of people say I want to be a fireman when I grow up, but I actually did, and I did it. And I became a volley when I was 17 in Roslyn, and I still volunteer till this day, and still love it. And the test came out, and I took the test. And while I was waiting for that, I got on EMS because they said that was going to be like a sure way to get on at the time, because if you didn't live in the 5 boroughs, it was going to be difficult with the 5 points residency and all that. So I became an EMT, and I wound up taking the open competitive and the promotional, and I wound up getting on through the EMS route in 2003. And
what
did you work in EMS?
I worked EMS in Corona, Queens.
Oh, right.
I got up August of 2001, and I
earned money sleeping.
An EMT, and I was assigned to Queens, Corona in the area, and I did that for 2 years before I got put into the fire academy.
What were you doing before you went to EMS, though?
No, I was 20 years old when I got on EMS, and I was a full-time student at Hofstra.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my daughter.
So is that where you got the itch? Like, did you want to go to 138? Like, 289, 138?
Believe it or not, when I was an EMT, I had a scanner in the rig, and anytime there was a job in the area, we started heading that way, and if we didn't get assigned to it,
like, oh, look, it's Sally Balls again.
And
what's going on?
I knew that was a hot area, so I figured why not work there as a fireman. It was rocking and rolling.
He figured. So how do you figure that? You just say, I'm gonna take a look at a drawer, or maybe Sally Bots call somebody over there.
Oh, you hang out at Lemon Ice King. You meet the guys over there at the park over there, the bocce guys over there, and they hook you up.
You know what? He saw 138. He pulled over. He bought him some Corona ices. The Lemon Ice King of Corona. Went to the Spaghetti Park over there, played a little bocce, and they say, "Who's this Italian guy? Keeps following the rig around." I don't know.
Yeah, so I wound up going there, and I loved it.
Wait, you didn't wind up going there. How?
Yeah.
The question is, you keep missing it. He's going around.
Not even the engine. Not in the engine. Right to the truck.
Yeah, man. Right to the truck.
No, I was in the engine first.
In the engine.
Oh, you did go to the engine. All right.
Yeah, I was in the engine for 4 years, and then I went to the truck 4 years into it, and I did 6 years in the truck.
Well, how did you get to? Again, he's bypassing the. Hold on a minute. Listen, how did you get to the engine?
I through a family friend.
That's what I'm saying. You don't want to.
Don't be afraid to shout him right out when you know.
Shout him right out when you know.
Yeah, no, I reached out to a couple people to try to get me there, and thankfully it all worked out, and I got assigned there. And
you called the fixer, is what you did.
I called someone, definitely.
You called the fixer. You go over to 289. You bring the cake. Who was the captain there at the time?
The captain of 289 was Mike Delina. Do you remember?
Vaguely.
Mike Delina, character, great guy, and he was there for a short while because he got promoted to chief, and then after Mike Delina, Dean Costa was the captain.
Oh, I know Dean Costa.
He was the captain of 289.
Yeah,
and he was there, and then after him was, I believe, Jimmy Gells.
Jimmy Gells, that's my commissioner.
Yeah. And then, like I said, 4 years later, I wanted to go to the truck.
Wait, we're going too fast. Slow down. Let's talk about the engine. You turn the page right on the engine, right? Bobby's right. Nobody gives the engine credit. He turned the page. I was
Bobby Spano.
The engine was great, man. That's the roots.
But then I went to the truck, and then it doesn't really count. So
when'd you catch your first job? How long your first tour? Did you catch? How many runs did you go on your first tour? For God's sakes, over
there. I think 1 weekend I caught my first job there. Yeah. It was about first week, and then I caught a job. The way it worked in the engine over there is the senior guy in the groups got the nozzle, so I usually had backup or door. We were a 5-man company, so you
always had to work your group though, right? If you worked your groups, did you get the nozzle, or was it always a senior man?
You had to be in your groups to get the nozzle.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Well, obviously, if everyone was on a mutual or the senior guy wanted to give it to you, that worked. But it was always senior guy in groups got the nozzle.
Yeah, 290 was the same way.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to know if Rick Bruno was there in 289 when you were there.
Rick Bruno was definitely there. He was a legend there.
Fixture there, bro.
Yeah, he was a great boss. Nothing fazed that guy. Shit could be hitting the fan, and that guy was calm, cool, and collective, like nothing was going on.
That's what you want.
That's exactly what you wanted. Like, no matter his famous saying was, "There's no problems, only solutions," and he lived by that. He really did.
Says that all the time.
Who does?
You say that.
Yeah, I know. The guy kind of told me that. No problems, only solutions.
Yeah,
it's a great saying, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's a good house, though. So, guys, for people who are out in New York, it's a more of a ghetto house. It's more of a Brooklyn type house. A lot of guys
run
Brooklyn.
They run,
but they run and the response area is gigantic. It's huge.
It is.
Yeah. So were you the only probate that went there when you went?
No, I went there with one other guy in the engine and one guy out of the truck. So 3 of us from that class went to that house.
So the other guy who went to the truck had a bigger hook than you, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Initially.
Did you?
How did it go to the engine?
Let me ask you a question, though. He probably won't say. Did you put the truck or the engine down first when you asked your hook?
No, I actually asked to go to the engine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. I wanted to start. Everyone told me start off in the engine. You'll thank me later, and that's exactly what I did. I learned the engine, and I did that, for a couple of years, and then before I went to the truck.
They get a lot of work over there. Heavily occupied over there.
It's crazy.
The amount of people living.
Every type of building too. They got H's. They got commercial.
It was a very diverse makeup of buildings, which was very nice to learn the job there.
And you got there what, 2003? Yeah. 2003.
How do you learn the?
Who teaches you that?
I'm trying to know. You got to teach me.
They have a little scratch pad in the house wash.
Yeah. What about Tarantini over there?
Tarantini was the best. He was
still working.
Yeah, he's still working. He says he's getting ready to pack. He's putting a plan together. I talked to him today.
Tiger 1.
He's Tiger 1, right?
Yeah. I remember. Yeah,
he wasn't Tiger 1 when you got there. It was Mike, wasn't it?
He called himself Taron Tiger.
No, but
Taron Tiger.
Taron Tiger. But what's his name was the senior man there in the truck? Mike
Pryor?
Mike Pryor.
Yeah,
right?
Mike Pryor was the senior guy when I was there. Yep.
Right. Who was the senior man in the engine?
Senior guy in the engine was, when I got there, was Greg Bonomi. They called him Babbo.
Mm-hmm.
And he was the senior guy. And then Mike Pryor was the senior guy in the truck.
Who had the raspy voice? Who was the he talks like this. He was the union delegate too for 289.
Oh, Johnny Debo.
Right.
Yeah.
Debo.
Yeah.
See Debo, I think of the movie Friday.
Yeah, right.
My grandmama gave me that chain.
So tell us about a good job that you caught in 289 before we turn the page to the truck again, bro. Give us a good job that you had in 289.
Good job in 289. Probably one of my first nozzle jobs actually in 289. And like I said, that wasn't right away because, like I said, you had to be in your groups working to get the nozzle and be senior. And being a probie, I didn't have any seniority, so probably I don't know, a month or two in, and we had a rocking basement job, and we were first due. Truck was first due, and it was like I said, it was probably one of my first nozzle jobs, and it was a basement job. So all that together, I'm like, this is fucking intense, man.
Yeah.
And basement job, it's probably the hairiest situation you'll be in a private dwelling. Yep. Because there's only one way in, one way out typically, and those are probably the most dangerous in a private dwelling. So it was, as much as it was dangerous, it was very exciting because I'm full of piss and vinegar, and this is exactly what I've been waiting for, and boom, here we go.
When you came out, did you just say, just another day at the office? You know what I mean?
Not yet. Not yet? I was still learning the office at that
time. Oh, shit. That's good.
Yeah. So that was your first nozzle job. What did they do? Did the senior man give you the nozzle? Or he?
No, I actually had the nozzle somehow. I don't remember if I was in groups, but I had the nozzle that day.
And you get your job.
Yeah.
First basement job.
Yeah, it was rocking, and you get out of that, and your adrenaline is pumping, and you're like, that was fucking awesome. Let's do it again.
Yeah.
And you're like,
you get a chance over there because they go to a decent amount of work.
Hey, Sal, did the guys know that you were a volunteer when you got there or no?
Not
right away, maybe?
Initially, but I think a couple months in, word got out, nothing bad, but I told them, they're like, are you a volley? I'm like, I am. And they're like, all right, that's cool. Meanwhile, there's a lot of volleys in that house, which was cool, and probably no bullshit. A third of the house was volleys.
Wow.
And
Jimmy Gills was.
Yeah, it was good because and you try to secretly find out who are the volleys and be like, yo, me and you were in the same boat,
Yeah.
And but then you had those people who if you had a volley shirt on, they fucking crucified you.
Yeah.
They were anti-volley, hardcore union, you fucking taking away jobs. I'm like, I'm really not, because there's no paid firemen in my department.
Mm-hmm.
So, but, it was what it was. Like I said, I never regret being a volley. I still am a volley. I love doing it. And it's the way it is out here in Long Island. It is what it is,
Yeah. Who's chief of the department?
I think he's referencing to Sal.
You're chief of the department over there?
I was.
Holy Jesus! He's leaving. How come I don't see that on here? It's not on your timeline.
Nah. Come on.
Take it easy.
So listen, with Sal Mirra, did you cook over there? Did you make the gravy?
Oh, did he cook?
I did. I actually made a signature meal there called Salzones. I made them in Watkins Street too.
Well, is it just sort of related
What's
to
a Salzone?
So basically, it's a calzone, but some of the guys alleged that my sweat from when I was sweating profusely dripped into the calzone, which is what made them calzones.
Salzones.
But basically, I made a calzone, and we made all kinds. We made sausage and peppers. We made ham, pepperoni.
Now go over here.
We made a whole bunch of them, and they were delicious. So once in a while, the guys would be like, "Hey, but we do some salzones today." Says, "You got it. Let's make them." And even when I got promoted, I didn't mind cooking once in a while. It was fun still,
Mm.
So
you get the itch to go over to the truck.
I did.
You made the move. Would you just go up see the captain? I knew you wanted to go, or how long did you wait?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I was nervous to tell Jimmy Gills at the time, who was the captain, that I wanted to go to the truck because I feel like I'd let him down. But I called him at home one day and I said, "Hey, Cap, it's Sal." He's like, "What's up? Everything all right?" I'm like, "Yeah, everything's all right." And I said, I'm thinking about going to the truck. He's like, "Well, when are you thinking about doing it?" I'm like, "Now." He's like, "Oh, now? Okay." So I'm like, I'm going to fill out my paper and hopefully get it all signed. And I just wanted to get your blessing. He's like, "No, by all means, listen, it's a good step in the right direction." He's like, "I'm sure eventually you're going to want to study one day." And it was a good move. And so I put my paper in for the truck. And I remember I walked it through. I got everyone's signatures from the captain here, battalion. And at the time, we had 4 double groups.
Wow.
And there was about, I don't know, 6 people with their papers in to go across the floor. And I walked it through, and I remember going to see Chief Acerno, who was the Queensboro commander at the time. And I said, Chief, I just want to drop this off. This is my paper. He's like, Sal, do you know that there's like 4 double groups, 6 people looking to go that have had papers in for years? He's like, this is not going to be for probably years and years and years. So I said, no problem, Chief. I said, I just want to put it in and get the clock started, you know? Mm-hmm. And 2 weeks later, I was in 138.
You must call the fixer again, bro.
I have no idea, but they told me that's where I was working as a certain date. 2 weeks later,
yeah, he has no. You can rob a bank with this guy, bro. I have no idea.
But were you UFO? You went UFO, obviously. You were in UFO.
On a skin, you mean?
No, I was assigned.
Oh, you were assigned.
Yeah,
wow.
I got assigned. So now I had 5 double groups. And I had 6 people in the engine pissed off at me because I just
say the guys probably fucking hated you now, right?
They did, but you know, they said if you have a hook, don't waste it. You don't call them, use them. So
he did.
I did.
He did.
And I see that this is a recurring theme in South Korea.
Tough. That's a tough because you still got to live with those guys. It's kind of a tough spot, but I get it.
And they're like, here, Sal, this is your dinner. No, this is yours.
The engine's in meals. Oh, Sally's working today.
Oh, which one's Sal? No. That's
yeah, the guys who were waiting to go, they were great. They gave me my own plate. They're like, this is yours. I'm like, okay.
This is yours. Yummy.
So at night they're ass flossing your pillow in the bunk room.
But it was like I said, you know, I wanted to do it. I had the itch to go to the truck, and I did it, you know.
Did you have to go see Tiger One to get his blessing?
I had his blessing. Yeah,
Tiger One's blessing.
So, and I spoke to the senior guys in both companies just to make sure it was okay with them. And like I said, nobody had any objection. Afterwards, a couple people weren't crazy about jumping, you know, certain guys. But like I said, you know, you don't know who has a hook, who doesn't have a hook, and you know,
you gotta use it, bro.
I wanted to do it. You know, it's your career, you know, so you're only hurting yourself if you don't use it.
Exactly. Now, how'd you like going from? I mean, because 289 got a relatively small first 2 area to 138 that you feel like you could be driving on the rig for like 15 fucking minutes till you get to the box.
It's crazy. I remember we had covering officers in 138 from Brooklyn and, you know, areas where they were so populated with engine companies. And he's like, where are we going? And I'm like, second due box. He's like, we've been on the rig for 11 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's how it is over there. You had a lot of single engines over there, but the area for 138 was tremendous.
Gigantic.
It was huge.
All the way out to Flushing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they got special call a lot too, man.
Well, I was just going to say, when you had, this is Queens 324. Was he?
Oh, my God.
Was he still working then?
The Yak?
Oh, my God. He would call 138. You could be anywhere.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He came to the firehouse all the time. And his famous thing, he'd be like, there'll be movement today, Mirra. I'm like, where are we going? He's like, I'm not sure yet, but there'll be movement. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, he came by literally every single day pretty much. And, you know, he was great to have as a friend because, you know, when he was on the radio, he took care of me.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Corona House of Fire.
Corona House of Fire. Take in phone alarm 4246. Correction.
This is Queens 324.
This is Queens 324.
All right, so tell us about some scary jobs in 138, bro. Come on.
Do we have any pictures of 138?
You know what, Gonzo, let's go through some of the older pictures. We're into the truck. We'll show some engine pictures here.
He doesn't have any engine pictures. He didn't send it. The only engine pictures.
Oh, my God.
Oh, boy.
So sorry.
Oh, boy.
I'm so sorry.
Hoop is all over him.
Yeah.
What, you got the early pictures? No Proby pictures?
No, he has no Proby pictures.
What?
None. No, the only thing we have of him early, we have some early stuff. The one we have early is one of these.
Oh, boy.
I knew it was only a matter of time before that came.
Where was that? That was 138?
No, so that was it made its way to 138.
I'm sure
that was a bachelor party that I was at. And
cigar.
We were actually in Las Vegas, and somebody dared me to wear that, and I said, if you buy it, I'll wear it. So that's the story behind that. And guess what? The motherfucker came through and they bought it for me. So Then I had to actually put it on and wear it for 6 hours, and it was the most humiliating thing ever. I'm literally at a pool with like families around, and like people are like, "Stay away from that man."
Stay away from beefcakes.
Yeah, stay away from beefcakes over there. And yeah, that picture that made its way around, and they actually got a. There you go. They got a life size. What those called? Fatheads, right? They had a life size version of me made up and hung in the firehouse kitchen in Corona.
Yeah,
and they hung it on the wall there.
You know how many I got of these today, bro?
Oh,
Yeah.
The best.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then when I went to Flips, that giant figure
Followed you.
made it there. It made it to Brooklyn. I had the commissioner tell me one day at an event, he's like, "You look much better with your clothes on." And I'm like, "Commissioner, where did you see the picture?" He's like, "I saw it on the 8th floor." I'm like, "Oh boy,
Makes it way around, bro.
I feel like used."
Yeah.
But it was definitely comical. Listen, I mean, the funniest thing about the whole Speedo thing is like I didn't give a shit. Like it was, I call it very European.
But
It is very European.
Is that
Yellow
how
would have been
you-
better.
Is that how you
Yellow would have
snagged
been
your
better.
wife, bro?
Nah,
No?
she got a kick out of it. But the funniest thing is every picnic, guess what the guys requested? They wanted me to wear that thing, and I said it's too slutty to wear that with the families around.
Right.
You know, the kids can't be seeing that kind of shit.
You got to shave everything.
Arm for life, you know, bro.
Yeah.
Got to shave the boys up.
The hair, the whole thing. You had the whole look going on there, bro.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it was funny, man. And like I said, you only live once, so you got to do silly shit like that once in a while.
So when you're in 138, how do they roll? You don't get the roof or the OV right away, right? What do they give you?
Honestly, in 138, depending on the bosses, you know, we had one boss who he made the riding list, and you had zero involvement with what you wanted to work position wise for the tour. And then you had certain bosses who, you know, senior guy in groups, or you know,
right.
Basically, once you got assigned the roof for the first time, you were on the roof for quite some time.
Really?
Yeah, you were like the seated roof man, if you want to call it that.
Right.
And which is good. I mean, they want you to learn the roof because it's, you know, an important position, but at the same time, no one's really like, can I have the roof today? But you know, important position. But like I said, it was a learning position too, because they wanted the junior guy who is now able to take that position to really be a well-rounded roof man.
Right.
You had to be strong too. You had to be strong.
Yeah,
pipes on him, bro. Whoa.
Well, there's a little story behind that. You know, it's a it's a schmedium shirt. So
yeah, it was a little tight. I actually had to get that altered at one time because my arms were bigger than the sleeve. Believe it or not, I was big into weightlifting, and I might have gotten the length shortened a little too. If you notice that the patch is really close to the hem. But yeah, man, those were great times. I was big into working out, and I like showing them off a little.
Nothing wrong with showing guns out, bro. Sun's out, guns out.
Guns
Right,
out. Hey, you got it.
Nah, but I don't have those arms anymore.
You still wear the Speedo, though?
Yeah, still wear the Speedo.
On occasion. Right.
At home.
Special treats.
Special
Exactly.
So I call it eye candy for the ladies, you know?
Nice. Good
So who was some of the guys in the truck that you kind of, you know, gravitated to, like as far as the job was concerned?
In 138?
Yeah.
You know, a couple of senior guys, like I really clicked well with them there. You know, I had Mike Pryor was a senior guy, got along great with him. You know, he was around forever. Pleasure to deal with, absolute gentleman, and you know, loved work with him. He was in my groups. Steve Core, hardcore, you remember him, Coobs?
Yeah.
Rafana, you guys remember him? He was great, man. He called me Buffy, and you know, I got
Vampire Slayer.
He was a little rough around the edges, but he liked me, which was good. So we got
always
along
good
great.
when the rough around the edges guys like you for whatever reason it is.
Yeah. So he took a liking to me, and I ran with it, man. And he was definitely a good mentor to have. Chris Miller, who wound up getting promoted and working next house over in Brooklyn, he was one of the other senior guys in my groups. He was seated chauffeur. He was great to work with, and taught me a lot. And Joe Tarantaga.
Joe Tarantaga. We're gonna get him on the show.
He's been there a long time, right? I mean, how long?
He has. He's the senior guy there now. And me and Joe, I still talk to him all the time. He was a pleasure to work with, man. he's, like I said, he's a close friend of mine till this day, and I still talk to him, and always, not only about firefighting but just life in general. And he was an absolute pleasure to work with. Taught me a tremendous amount. I remember when I became a chauffeur in 138, he helped me with that. Let me drive my first tour. He's like, I'm going to be in the back step. Whatever you need, I'm here for you. And it was just like a nice reassurance to have someone like Joe working with you. And Joe was like hardcore Corona Tigers, still is. That guy, bleeds Corona Tigers. And
no doubt.
He definitely has a huge part on the success of that house till this day. I mean, he's a senior guy now. And like I said, he's done great stuff with the company, and and he really keeps it together over there. Like I said, he not only is he a phenomenal firefighter, he's a phenomenal friend and a person. He really is.
If the senior guy is in on it, like if he's into it, it trickles down to everybody. You know what I mean?
It does. He sets the mood. And,
that's it. I agree.
And he's still got that going there, man. And a lot of people, as time goes on, it kind of like, I don't want to say fizzles out, but they don't have that passion anymore.
I got it.
He still does.
How is it with the former members, the retired guys? They have a good base of guys who still turn out all the time?
Yeah, we still go to some events. They actually do something which Kenny Gunther, you remember Kenny Gunther?
Yes. I remember that. Yeah, I remember that
he
name.
put together, like, it's called the Tiger Luncheon, and the last day of every month, which essentially for retired guys is payday, we go out to Miller's Ale House in Deer Park every month. Anyone who's retired, promoted, or no longer basically working in Corona is invited, and it's a blast. We get to see each other. It's like being in the firehouse kitchen,
right?
But out, it's great.
What about one of your old Chief Steve was a former member of 138. Always loved that place, Chief Steve. Man, he would come back around there a lot to you guys?
Yeah, he would come by. I remember, like, they'd be like, Kubla's working, he's on his way, and everyone's fucking running around to get black socks on. he was going to check the socks, and we're like, Kubla's coming.
Kubla's coming. He's going to check the
right
socks.
shirt.
Oh, my God. Everyone's grabbing shirts. The guys are wearing shirts that don't even have their right name on it. It's like
he used to stop by our firehouse too, and of course I wouldn't be. I'd have look like you right now, right? Like us. I was like, he's like, when are you going to shave, Rafano? I said, I shaved this afternoon, Chief. It's I'm Italian. You know what I mean?
It was quick. You know what? Well, now we're going to have to segue right into the Chief Steve song.
Yeah,
ready? For the listeners who have not yet ever seen this is early vintage stuff.
Yeah,
this is the fourth, and we don't have the first version. We only have the fourth one left. We have to track down the other ones.
We do have the one. We'll track down the one with the socks, but here we go. Here we go.
I'm Chief Steve, back with another jam. I got a new ankle, so you can say hot damn. My job may be over, I put in 40 plus. Now I think I'll go and drive a yellow bus. Not just any bus, but a special one indeed. My little brother Kevin, he has special needs. I'll drive that yellow bus and buckle in his ass and tighten his helmet as he licks the freaking glass. When I'm gone, don't be overtime looters. I'll hunt you all down on my fucking scooter. You have not seen the last of me, be sure. I'll be hanging with these dickheads on the Gettin' Salty tour, 'cause I'm Chief Steve.
Classic. It's classic.
That's classic. I got to find the first one where he mentions the socks, because obviously that was a big thing.
Oh, the socks was huge, man.
Belisari was 138 guy too, right?
Who's that?
Tony Belisari. Yeah.
Yep.
The captain of the truck. When you did you ever work with the guy? Who was the guy who was in the big Irish guy who was in a band or whatever? He was in the band, wasn't he? The big
John Maloney.
Yes, was he there when you were there?
Yeah, he was the captain when I was in the engine originally.
Right.
But when I went across the floor, he was already gone.
Yeah, he wasn't a fan of the squad.
No,
I
know that.
How did you guys feel? How did they feel over there, 138? You weren't there yet when we became a squad, right? You got there later.
Yeah, you guys were already squad. Yeah.
Right.
But I know before me, I know a couple of guys didn't stay in 288 when they became a squad and they went to 138, right?
Oh, did they? I didn't know that. Yeah, maybe. That'd be great because they gave them wherever they wanted to go, so that would be a great move, right?
Yeah, I think you guys had tryouts though, or something, right?
Yeah, we did. Which
And a couple people were told that there'll be no tryout for them. So
really?
I guess that was a nice way of saying you're not staying here no matter what.
I don't know. I don't know about it.
I don't know.
Just like he doesn't know who was, I don't know anything about that.
Was Danny Schweiger there? Was Schweiger man there?
Yes. Yeah, Danny Schweiger was in 138 when I was in the truck. Yeah, great guy. Love working with him. He actually let me ride the front a couple times when he was working, right before I got promoted. So he was absolute gentleman.
Is that one of the Schweigers from the Rescue 2 Schweiger? The guy.
Yep, that's his brother.
Yeah, they're three brothers.
Three brothers.
Yeah, they're all big.
Oh my God!
The other brother was in 103, I believe.
Yeah, with me. Yeah.
Yeah, big dudes.
When did you start studying? Like, when did you start getting the?
I started studying. I want to say 07, 08. I started studying, and I believe the test was in 09. Yeah, the test was in 2009. So I started studying like 2 years to, maybe 18 months, right around that, to take the test. And I actually did pretty good. I went up writing a 90 on the test, but if you guys remember, there was a slowdown with promotions because the whole lawsuit was going on with the Vulcans at one time, and they weren't putting enough probies in, so they weren't really promoting a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So even though I took the test in 09, I didn't get promoted till 13. It took me it took me 4 years. I mean, it took a year for the list to come out, but then it still took 3 years. And with a score of a 90, I thought it would be much sooner. But listen, I wasn't in a rush, but I literally got promoted 10 years to the day. I got on September 14th, 2003, and I got promoted September 14th, 2013. 10 years to the day I got promoted.
That's a good time to get promoted. 10 years.
Yeah, everyone's funny. Everyone said 10 years is perfect time, and I literally to the.
And you were in a great house, so who cares?
Yeah, like I said, I wasn't in a rush, but when it came, and it wound up coming. And
as soon as that came, it was like this. Yeah, fixer. Yeah, yeah. Right. You know where I'm going.
Well,
magically,
he could have been. I think he was already in the. That crew already, you know what I mean? So that doesn't hurt either when you're in the trustee. The Presidente, El Presidente, or whatever he was.
Let's talk about that a little bit. How do you get, of course, with the name, Salvatore Mirra, you got to be the Colombians. So you join the Colombians, and all of a sudden, he's the president of the Colombians, Roof,
Yeah, so I started out in 2005 in the Columbia Association. I was a Queens trustee because I was working in Queens, and there was an opening. So I started doing that. I got very involved with them, and next thing you know, I'm eating gabagool, having red wine, and all is good, man.
Mikey Smithwick was part of that, right? He was he the president?
Yeah, Big Joe Smithwick. He's half Italian, even though he's got an Irish last name. Yeah, he was there. Craig Silvino.
Silvino.
We had him on, right? Silvino?
Yeah, we had Silvino on. Yeah, awesome.
Keith Tanico was.
Forget about it. 30.
Yeah, he was there. So so I got on the board as a Queens trustee, and I really loved it. And I said, "This is great. It's like a little another club within the fire department." And
Frankie D'Amato was big with that too. The fish from EMS.
Yeah. I wound up moving up, and I wound up being president for the last couple of years that I was working. And
now we see, bro.
Had a great time. Met a lot of great people. Got friendly with a lot of the staff chiefs and stuff like that. So it definitely was beneficial.
It don't hurt is what you're saying.
Connections.
No.
Bring you a couple boxes of cannolis.
I called it networking.
Networking.
I'm just going to say, don't hate the player, hate the game. That's it.
That's it.
It's all part of the game.
Right.
You got to spend time, make time, right?
The average day on the job, bro. You know what I mean? Just the ordinary day on the job.
Another day on the job.
Another day in the office.
Yes. All right, so run us through the phone call to how you get to 120. It's like, nope, don't want, nope. No, yeah, now, yes, I'll take that.
4 battalion, nice.
Yeah, there was an opening at 120. They asked me if I wanted it. I said, sure, I'll go there. No.
Yeah.
It took me 4 years to get the spot finally.
So but you went to the 15th.
Yeah, so I got assigned to I did flips, and then I got assigned to the 15th division. They asked you to pick 6 battalions you want to go to, and I picked every battalion in the 15th division. So I got it, and was like happy as a pig in shit, man. And because the 15th division as a whole, there's almost
you can't get a bad spot.
No matter where you go, you're going to fires. The 15th division is great.
I heard 103 kind of peters out down there a little bit. Is that true?
The what?
103, it peters out a little bit down there.
Slows down over there?
Yeah, a little quiet over that way.
Yeah, so I got assigned in my first tour out in the field was in October. And my first vacation was actually 147.
That's a great spot, man.
Awesome. Not a great commute, but the guys were phenomenal. There was fire duty, and I got into my first accident, which was pretty cool.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so I didn't even, it was actually Thanksgiving. It was November, Thanksgiving, and we might have clipped the car with
allegedly
with the tiller rig.
Oh,
I never worked in a tiller rig my entire career, so like now I'm in charge of one. And like it's literally a fucking 18-wheeler that's flying through traffic. That's what it is. And I'm like, this is a crazy concept. I keep the guy in the back driving concept. In my mirror. I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy. And like we're just like weaving in and out.
Oh hey, hey Don. Sal, what happened?
You didn't plug it in.
I told us some of my boom to plug it in. We'll just say anyway. We'll just
pull up some pictures.
Yeah. I was going to
reminisce down Sal Lane. Oh, he's back.
Oh, there. No, is he?
Oh, he's back, but
where is he?
He's dark.
He's dark. Sal, where are you? Are you there? Stay away from the light, little. Stay away from your light, little buddy.
Not 3 times on the ceiling.
Well, we have
That's a big thing of ice.
Ice cream. Tell him to go out and come back in.
That looks like ice.
Yeah.
Italian ice.
That's the big Italian ice. Give him a holler. See what he says. I'm gonna boot him. Give him a boot. Tell him to come back. But anyway,
get some more pictures up there. There you
we
go.
got. So he's got. He sent a lot of.
20 pictures.
I have a few amounts of 20 pictures. I'll show some of the ones we didn't get to because
the 138 ones before.
He doesn't have. He did that one I showed you was the only one was that one picture with the muscle shirt of him at 138.
What?
Yeah, so he sent this one here with the triple deuce. It was only that one. You got a little story behind that. You got another one with the Nigro. This was the him ordering in one day. Oh, there now you are. There.
All right, so I was saying, so we wound up going to a job. When I was in 147, and like I said, we definitely clipped a car going to this fire. And the reports of kids trapped, and I'm like, whatever. I didn't see it. We're going. Fires out. There was no kids trapped. Rocking job. We wound up getting in there right away. Fires out, and I hear on the radio, 147, come to the command post. And I'm like, oh boy.
What, Rob?
I said, Chief, you calling for me? He's like, yeah. Did you guys hit a car coming here? And I says, we did. I told the guy to come to the scene. Is he here? He's like, yeah. He's like, oh. He's like, I thought you guys left the scene. I'm like, absolutely not. I told the guy follow us. I said, he's here, Chief? He's like, yeah, he's right there. He's pissed. I says, yeah, Chief, I'll take care of it. No problem. I said, I'm glad he followed through and came here, though.
Dude, he's fast on his feet, bro.
That's pretty quick. That's pretty. I could have used that one a few times, probably.
Yeah, so like I said, it was my first accident. I had no idea how to do the whole paperwork, report, and all that. The cops got there. They're like, what's the driver's name? I said, there's 2 drivers. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, how is there 2 drivers? I'm like, there's one in the front, one in the back. I said, he's like, bro, I don't know how to put this in the paperwork. I said, just put 1 driver. I don't care. So whatever. First accident, I got it out of the way, and I'm like, I guess this is the 15th division, right?
Hang on for dear life. That's what you're doing.
But
right?
but I had a great tour. The guys were great there. They made me feel really welcome, and like I said, I put some work there, and I'm like happy as can be. I'm like, this is like a blessing. The 15th division. Fired all the time, and I'm like, what could go wrong, man? This is
found a home right there, bro. You found it.
So yeah. So then next vacation, the division calls me up, and they're like, you're going to 120. I'm like, 120. I'm like, that's like major leagues. And
they're calling you up. They're calling you up, bro.
Yeah. So I go over there. I call the captain, who was Chris Iser at the time. I says, hey, you doing, Sal Mirra? I'm actually covering a vacation there. He's like, I know. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm looking forward to it.
You're like,
meanwhile, he's the one who brought me there, so I have him to thank for getting my foot in the door there. But yeah, so I wound up going there, and I wound up catching so much work there doing the vacation there. It was literally, he'd be calling me, how was the job? And I'd be like, Chris, which job? I'm like, we were going to fires like crazy. That was one of my first jobs. Chris Banker, senior guy at the time, driving. Johnny Mack, Andy Eckstein, Mike Carroll. Was catching work like crazy, and it was awesome. It really was. And, the feedback was great from the guys to the captain, and Iser basically kind of kept me there as the fifth wheel. And any kind of vacation that was going on, he brought me back. Any kind of medical leave, anything long-term, he got me in the mix there. And I never, felt so welcomed as a boss in the firehouse like I did there. Really? I mean, the guys were, so accommodating. It was a blessing, that place. And like the house runs itself, man. And I always said that, the officers there, we're there for the ride. That place runs without us. And we're there to have a shirt of the seat to the show.
Push the 1084 button. That's it.
That's it. And pay the guys, and the rest is on them, man.
Did you feel a little bit intimidated in a place like that at all, Sal?
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, my first tour there, I'm driving in, and I'm like, should I have grown a mustache? I don't know.
Look a little old or something.
Yeah. Should I make myself look older or whatever? But I'm coming from a good shop. I got promoted out of 289 138, very respected house. And I'm like, I'm just going to go with the flow, get the feeling of the house, and just just go with it. And like I said, the guys made me feel so welcome there. Like I was part of them from day one. And the guys couldn't be more squared away, man. That house is like a well-oiled machine. From the past
great alumni. I mean, they got great alumni. I say it all the time, man. They were
a lot of heavy hitters came out of that house. And,
yeah, I mean, we always competed with them, obviously. To get the jobs and to work. But if I had to pick a company, if somebody asked me like a company that has a long history of the alumni staying together, doing the right thing all the time, I would definitely pick those guys. I would definitely say Walk Street, without a doubt.
And like I said, we were catching a lot of work, and the captain always wanted to ask the guys, how's he doing? How did he do his job as a boss? And the feedback was great, and he kept me, which was awesome. So I have to thank Chris Iser for getting me to get my foot in the door there and keeping me there. And he wound up getting promoted before the spot actually physically opened up. So I'm like, shit, new captain's gonna come with new guys, and I'm out. But the captain who came was Mike Thompson, another great guy. He's a chief now. Mm-hmm. He kept me there, and he was a man of his word. And he said, "Listen, I know Iser was going to keep you here, and I'm going to do the same thing." And he endorsed me ultimately for the spot when it did open up. Which, like I said, it was 4 years of not bouncing, but UFO covering before the spot actually physically opened up to get. But once it did open up, I got the endorsement, which was awesome, and I wound up getting the spot. 12 people put in for the spot.
Wow. 12 people.
12 people. So I had a very an 8% chance.
Yeah.
That's Billy Rogers, one of his last tours. Billy Rogers got promoted, and
I remember Rogers.
As sad as it was for him to go, it was actually the opening for me to take a spot now. So
wow.
I was happy for Billy, but I was also happy for myself. Secretly.
Who's next to him on the left? I can never. Hickey? Is that Hickey?
That's Will Hickey. Yeah, Will Hickey.
I remember
the senior guys, and that's the famous Chief DiMartino. Danny DiMartino.
Oh, he's a 138 guy too.
Dino, yeah, he was a 138 guy. Yep.
I think I had an argument with him.
He worked. He worked in the squad. He was in SOC for a little while. Danny.
He was a captain in SOC, I believe.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, he was a character to work with.
Oh, he was. Yeah.
So yeah, once Billy got promoted, the spot opened up finally. I put in for it. I got it, and I had to call people again. And just to put a good word in, and it was
done deal.
It was a done deal.
I think the only guy with more weight than you might have been the captain there. Might have been Isaac.
Isaac?
Yeah.
I've got some weight there, probably.
Oh, wait. I think, where did he go? 124 as a lieutenant?
176. He's been everywhere.
Isaac was lieutenant 124. Yep.
Yeah. Fireman in 111.
111, yeah.
And then
captain of 120, and now he's the chief in the 5-0.
Yeah. He might have had a little better fixing than you, bro. I think him. Those spots.
So yeah, that was that's another job we had.
What's the story with the horns and the Superman thing?
So the horns was actually I want to say in the 70s around. They actually got permission, official permission. There's actually a letter on the apparatus floor that the captain at the time asked the commissioner at the time and chief of department, I believe, for permission to put that on the rig, and they got the approval, and they kept it. It's been there since.
Really? What is it? Have any meaning, or are they just like a charge type of thing? Or...
Yeah, it's like it's like a symbolic thing.
And what about the Superman thing?
I think that's from like they call it Super Truck.
Oh, okay.
And they have the Superman logo on
Nobody does it better, Coops.
Nobody does it better.
Like that.
But you were nobody.
We're nobody.
Right.
Nobody does it better. Yeah, the mechanic used that line.
Yeah, that's right.
We had this was before I was there, but I know 120 flipped the rig, and then Mike Thompson, who was the captain at the time, had a major accident with the rig, and they took out about 30 cars, and it was a real bad accident. And I remember the mechanic came by, and he's like, "I remember when you guys flipped your rig." He's like, "Now when you got this major wreck." He's like, "You guys really live by that motto. Nobody does it better when it comes to fucking accidents." He's like, "You sure do good, man." I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it doesn't sound too good.
Oh, the guy's name was Will, who lived next to him, who was in 120 at the time. Does that ring a bell? Will?
Not Will Hickey.
Will Hickey.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
That's Bizel's brother, a sister-in-law, brother-in-law, or something. He's married to his sister.
Fat Bizel or Skinny Bizel?
Chubby Bizel.
Nobody likes a Skinny Bizel, right?
Nobody likes a Skinny Bizel.
Can't get him on the show either. That son of a bitch.
No. Umig knows. Nobody likes a Skinny Bizel. He's in there.
And so like I said, I hit it off with the guys from day one, and I waited it out. I'm sure you guys know to get a truck in the 15th division is not something that you could get in a year. You got to kind of wait it out. There's guys already waiting for spots, so you kind of just got to wait your turn, and it is what it is. And 4 years later, it all paid off, though. I finally got the spot, even though I was working there. Your UFO versus being assigned are two different things. Like once you get that front piece and you're assigned to 120 on paper, you're really part of the team now. Right.
And you have like 12 more guys that hate you because you took the spot from them. Right?
Boom.
Yeah.
You get that nice new face piece or front piece. Look at that.
Wow, look at that.
I remember I brought that to the quartermaster, and he's like, "Are you kidding me with this?" I'm like, "That's why I came to get a new one, brother." So that was my before and after.
Talk about. I remember like even the Chiefs in the 4-4. All those guys were freaking. I remember awesome for the most part. I think. Who was the guy from Long Beach, Coobs? I used to play volleyball with. I can never remember his name. He was there a long time in the 4-4.
Oh, he was a chief too, right?
Yeah, he was a chief in the 4-4.
From Long Beach?
Yeah,
he's from Long Beach. Somebody will put it in there. And Scanlon was there. I remember Chief Scanlon.
He was the captain of 136 too.
Yes, he was the captain of 136. Somebody will put it in the freaking. I can't remember.
One of the chiefs in the 4-4, Jimmy McNally, was there for a long time.
Oh, McNally, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was the 4-4 commander when I was there. He gave me the endorsement.
He was the commander, huh? Holy mackerel! Yeah, McNally was him.
And then another he was a captain of 136, and it was who else? Long Beach. So
that was him. It was McNally. It was Jimmy
McNally. Okay.
Yeah, Jimmy McNally. Yeah.
He was great. He was in 120
commander for a long time.
McBride, was he in 120 or 123?
Yeah, Bobby McBride was a fireman in 120 before I was there, but he was at 120. Yeah.
Yeah, we got to get him on.
He loved it. He loved 120. He always talked about that.
Oh, he loved talking about 120. I heard.
Yeah. Is that good or bad?
No, it's good. But Yeah, it was funny. Right around, I don't know, end of the year, beginning of 14, I was in between sequences, and I just finished up at 138. I just finished up at 120. I'm sorry. And like, there's like a couple sets where you're SA before the next sequence kicks in. So I actually, on New Year's Day, I called the division to find out where I was working for the day. And they actually said, you're going to the 14th division for the day. I'm like, oh, really? I'm like, that's cool. They're like, you know what? Call the 14th division, find out where they're going to send you, and just let us know where you go. So I called the 14th division, and I said, hey, you doing, Sal Mirra from the 15th? I'm going to the 14th division. You guys are getting a body today? And they're like, yeah, you're going to 138. What?
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
I'm going to 138. I'm like, this is like a dream come true. Like, I'm a lieutenant. I just got promoted out of 138, and now I'm going. And that was the job we had that day. And so I call up. Joe Tarantini's driving, which was great.
He's right
and
there,
said,
yeah.
Oh, I'm working there today. He's like, no shit. I said, yeah. So 9 o'clock, we're doing roll call. 9:04, tones go off, fire, private dwelling, multiple calls, people trapped. And we literally pulled out of the firehouse. We're going up the road, and the whole fucking sky is black. And I'm like, we got a job.
Nice.
And I said, Joe's like, we sure do. And it wound up being a fatal fire, unfortunately. And like, I went from the happiest moment at 9 o'clock.
Well, I think go back to that picture. Go back to that picture. Mm-hmm. I think I was I'm looking at the buildings there. Was that two kids died at that building?
That's exactly right.
We went to that job.
It was like 92 Street,
yes,
like Northern Boulevard.
Yep, we were the squad there. I remember we went into the top floor through the window.
That's exactly right. The kids died.
Yeah, the kids.
Just goes to show you, like 9 o'clock, I'm happy it's gonna be to work in 138, where I got promoted out of at 9:04. We're pulling 2 dead kids out of a fire, and I'm like,
I remember that.
Not the fucking floor that I wanted, but
they were there. We found out they were there with I think it was 3 kids. They were there with their aunt or their grandmother or something.
Yep.
And the kids lit a fire in a fake fireplace. Correct.
That's exactly
in a fake fireplace. And the kids, one of the kids got past the fire in the living room, and the other 2 kids got caught like right at the base of the stair. If I remember. Yeah,
absolutely horrible. One of the kids we found them at the base of the stairs, and unfortunately they both passed. But when we pulled up, there was fire blowing out of every opening in that dwelling.
Yeah.
You felt the heat getting off the rig. I'm like, this is fucking.
We actually, when we got there, same thing. So because they gave the report, a kid's trapped and all that. We turned out fast, and that was pretty close. We actually put up a ladder and went in because there was so much fire on the first floor, out the door and out at the thing.
Yeah.
We actually went into the top, and then we heard the guys say that they had the kids at the base of the stair.
Yeah, so like I said, it was a terrible situation, and then we're packing up. And, it was nice to be back in 138 for the day, even though it was just one tour. But to fast forward a little, at that job, you guys remember Chief Spadafora?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
He's like, "Where's 138's boss?" And I'm like, "Oh boy."
Uh-oh.
I said, Chief, right here. He's like, "Are you assigned to 138? I said, "Chief, I'm actually assigned to the 15th Division. I'm here SA for the day." He's like, "What's with all those tiger tails on everyone's helmet?"
What?
That's what he's got. There's 2 kids dead, and he's worried about tiger tails.
A kid's just died, and he's worried about a tiger tail. But he's like, "Why do they have tiger tails on their helmets?" I said, "Chief, I'm in the 15th Division. I'm just here for the day, but I'm going to get to the bottom of this and find out what this company does with these tiger tails."
You should have went like this to him. Woo woo.
Meanwhile, I had one 2 months before that. He's like, "This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen." He's like, "It's a hazard on the helmets." I said, "Chief,
oh my God,
no worries. I'm going to get to the bottom of it right now." So I go to the guys. I says, "Guys, the chief doesn't like the tiger tails. You
get on the rig. Get on the rig. Yeah, get on the rig."
So he's actually. I says, "You got to cut him off. He wants you to cut him off." And like, "Fuck that. We're not cutting them off." They're like, "Fuck you, Sal." They're like, you have one too. I'm like, "No more, brother."
Fuck you, Sal.
And then he's watching the guys to see if they cut him off. And he's like, "Excuse me, Lieutenant, cut them off now." And I'm like, "Oh boy." So listen, I'm like, I said, "Chief, you got it." I said, "Guys, just cut them off. We'll put them back at the firehouse when we get back." They're zip tied on. It wasn't the end of the world. But he literally watched us, and he wanted to see the guys cutting the tiger tails off. And I'm like thinking, 2 kids just died, and like
You're
he's
worried
worried about tiger tails, like
tiger tail.
bro. And I'm
they've
like,
been wearing those things forever. I mean, that wasn't like.
but
just-
the ironic part about it is he's asking me, he's like, what the fuck's going on with these tiger tails? And I'm like, I played it off. Chief, I don't know what 138 does.
I'll find out the fuck what's going on here. Chief.
I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
I don't even know where 138 is. Where the hell are they?
Yeah, I said those are the silly little things they have hanging on their helmets. I don't know. I'll find out, though.
Gonzo, go back to that picture.
Oh, hold on a second. Fucking A.
That's funny.
Oh, here it is. I forgot.
Yeah,
Who's the big kid next to Tarantini?
Sal Cerami.
Cerami, that's what it is.
Yeah, he's assigned to 132 now.
He got promoted?
Yeah, he got promoted to lieutenant, and
Wow.
he's assigned to 132.
It's,
Yeah, it was
He's
2
working with
Sals
the
at one
angry.
time. It was awesome.
He's working with
Roof,
the
he was
angry.
he was the baseball coach in Iraq. His grandfather was my baseball coach.
Really? He
Yeah.
looks familiar, that kid.
He lived on the next block over from my house, from 60th Drive.
Oh, that's how I remember.
Yeah,
Kid.
yep.
Nice.
And then, so like I said, it was definitely cool to be back in 138 for the day, even if it was just the one tour. And it was great to, be back at home, like, and get that feeling again, like, it was cool.
That's great.
That's awesome.
And
And he got to work with Tarantini.
Tarantini was working.
Yeah, it doesn't get better than that, right?
Nah, he was driving.
Unless you made Salzones, then it would be the cherry on the top.
Nah, I don't remember what we got. I'll be honest with you, but
you probably went to Mama Mutt's.
Mama Mutt's delish.
Mush.
But yeah, so that was my tour 138 when I was a boss, and like I said, it was definitely cool to go back for the day.
Everybody's got a story where they almost shit the bed. They almost buy the big one. You have a story where you almost bought it?
Well, it's funny. I back to go. I was back in 120 UFO, and we were actually coming back from a job, and we were heading back. We were taking a couple minutes time. Guys wanted to wash up. Once in a while, we had to do that. But another rocking job in by 283 comes in. And we look in that direction, and the whole sky is black. And I'm like, that looks like a fucking good job. I says, you guys ready? I'm going to jump on this. And they're like, okay. It's, I know you want to wash up, but maybe this is a little bit better right now. Yeah. So they're getting people trapped, reports of people trapped, and they're asking for a tower ladder to the front of the building. So I said, perfect. I said, 120 to Brooklyn. They're like, yeah, 120. I said, we're right around the corner from that job. You want to send us a ticket?
That never happens.
Yeah, 120. You got it. Ding! We're not taking time anymore. We're on the box. We're going to go take the front of the building. They want a towel out. They got people trapped, reports of. And what do you think happens?
You get into an accident.
We got into a major fucking accident.
Nobody does it better.
But the senior guy 120, Al Getz, was driving me, and we literally wrapped the fucking car around a telephone pole. And I'm like, oh my God. The worst part about it, I'm not even thinking if this lady's alive or not right now, which thankfully she had minor injuries, so that's the only reason I could joke around about this now. But I had to tell Brooklyn where I was.
That wasn't around the corner.
It was around the corner, just not the corner I told them.
Yeah.
I'm getting nervous already.
So I'm like, oh, shit. And I don't even have my phone on me. Otherwise, I would have called them. So I get on the radio. I said, 120 to Brooklyn. They're like, 120, go ahead. I says, we're involved in a major accident at the location of East New York Avenue and Thomas Boylan. They're like, so I hope that's it. And you know where I am, and leave it alone, right?
Yeah.
120 to Brooklyn to 120. Where are you? And I'm like, oh my God. And deep down, I'm like, Brooklyn, you know where I am. I just told you. Don't ask me again.
You know what's going on here.
Yeah.
You know what everybody does. We all lie.
I don't want to.
We all lie. We all lie.
So I'm like, 120. We're on East New York Avenue and Thomas Boylan, and I'm trying not to be so loud. So it's like if that was going to help, but they're like, 120. All right, we're going to put you out of service, and we'll have a engine CFR and a truck come to your scene. So now we're out of service. We got into this accident. We're checking on this lady. I hear 176 jumping on this. They're like, 176, you want to send us to the fire? They're like, 176, go to 120's accident. I'm like,
oh my God, dude.
Well, that wasn't it. That was
I was like, shit.
No, that wasn't mine. That was the other accident, though, that the mechanic was breaking my chops about. He's like, you guys really doing well.
I got you. Shit, let me see if I can find it then. I thought that was it. I'm like, man, I got lucky in the first shot.
No, that wasn't it. That was another accident. But so now 176 who wanted to go to this fire, now they're coming to us. I'm like, oh my God, this just can't keep it getting worse and worse. Thankfully, the lady's okay. She's a little banged up. We're okay. But all day I was getting messages. They're like, what corner were you around that you got so far launched to East New York and Thomas Boyle? And I'm like, very funny. And, you know, everyone's listening to the radio and like, that's the last thing. That's like the worst thing that could possibly happen.
That's the worst scenario that could happen, like.
You try to be proactive and tell me around the corner.
Everybody does it. Everybody does that.
Go there.
I listen to the old radio all the time. I can't. 103 does it all the time. We're on the corner. Send us a ticket.
Yeah. So you jump on a box. You're just like, all right. All we need to do is get from point A to B, nothing in between, and then boom, shit. And I'm like, this is bad, but. Listen, thank God.
Yeah, like you said, thank God nobody got hurt.
Rig have to go out of service or no?
It did because the windshield cracked. But they fixed that in the firehouse, and we were all good.
There's not a worse. I'm thinking about it now. Like you're so hyped up to go. You're responding to a job. Like there's no worse feeling than having to get on the radio and say or just the fact that you can't respond anymore. And the job's going on, and then people are jumping on the box and they're going to the job, and you're going to get left out. I mean,
shitting on your birthday cake, bro.
Oh my God, it's so bad. Especially then you got like Sal was saying, like to have to do paperwork, and God forbid somebody got really hurt or something like that. I mean, you don't want that shit to happen, but it happens.
No, and you feel horrible, but like I said, by the luck of God, no one really got seriously hurt, and we were able to continue on after the rig got windshield fixed, and lesson learned. The mark is still on the bumper till this day, and
yeah, no snappy quick one for that one though, huh? Snappy one for the other one. We're a little lost for words in this one, bro.
Like he said, you got to keep your cell phone. Well, now I think all the rigs have cell phones now. I don't even know. I think they do.
Yeah, well, every officer actually has a phone now. They want you to carry while you're on the rig.
Oh, all right.
In the event of, God forbid, you need to call someone, whether it's a BI matter or some other, you got to call the chief, speak to some, privately and not on the radio. Every officer has a phone now, which is pretty cool, which they did, which was one of the, positive things that they did for the officers going forward. So, but like I said, lesson learned. But, listen, everyone does it all the time in the 15th division. I don't have to tell you. And I'm sure, 90% of the time you'll get away with it. And my fucking 10%.
There you go. There you go. Snared.
It happens.
We're right around. They're waving us in. That was the other one.
From Queens to Brooklyn, did you have to adapt to the? I mean, I'm sure 138 had a good turnout, but not like the 15th.
It's funny. Like a couple of guys who were actually in Brooklyn at one time and worked in 138, they told me, and I have to agree with them, being in both now, is that 289 138 is almost like a Brooklyn firehouse. It really is.
Yeah, a lot of guys have said that on the show.
Yeah, I mean, you go to certain parts of the 14th division, I can tell you it's not like Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But the 289 138 as a whole has that Brooklyn vibe, and it's the hard chargers into the job, and the fire duties there. It really is.
Yeah. Always has been, man. It's always a busy place.
Yeah. But I will say the nice thing about like 138 is the other truck is not on top of you like it is in.
Nah.
And 120, 103, 120, 176. We're pulling up at the same time. Where 138 was like you were going
drive backwards. Yeah, you could drive backwards and get there first. You know what I mean? 117, 154, 136. They all had huge areas, right? I mean, 151.
Definitely. I mean, 138 goes all the way down Queens Boulevard to.
They run it at 151, don't they?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, 151. 136, 154, 129, going towards Flushing. Huge.
They had some first two boxes in Maspeth, around the back of Maspeth, 138 would be.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So yeah, it was just but like I said, the whole 15 divisions, like that, and that's the I don't have to tell you, Rafano, 290, 103. I remember I worked in 290 a couple times, man. Those guys are on fucking two wheels flying in. I remember it was funny. One of my first tours, SA in 290, I was like so nervous about turning out and getting on the rig, and we had a project run, my first run in 290, and I actually carried the standpipe bag into the fire department. So all I'm thinking is, apartment 6C, I gotta get there. And all of a sudden, my control man is in the apartment with me. He's like, "Oh, Lou, I need that bag." I'm like, "Oh, yeah." I'm like, "What an asshole!" All I'm doing, I'm so tunnel visioned to get to that apartment. I'm a brand new officer. I'm trying to prove myself that I'm not a fucking idiot.
That's the thing.
And
that's it
sure
right there.
I got the standpipe bag in the apartment with me. I'm like, ooh.
That's a lot of times that's really the key, is especially when even though you had 10 years on the job as a new lieutenant, right? Especially in the covering companies, and you're not 100% sure where you're going to be, but you want to make a good impression if you have a job, all that stuff.
100%.
Right? So you're constantly, it's in the back of your mind, and you can make it. I think the first time I came back, I used to wear a baseball hat, and I got off the rig with my baseball hat because I thought I had my helmet on. You know what I mean? Because something was on my head. You know what I mean?
You felt something, right?
Yeah. So you just got to.
And by the way, that standpipe bag in 290, I don't know what the fuck is in there.
Well, there was definitely probably a couple. They used to put extra, 5-pound plates in there just because they had so much shit in there for every. Listen, they had for every scenario that could happen. If you get up there and it doesn't have the wheel, it doesn't have the stem, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that. They had a wrench for this, a wrench for that, a wheel for this, grip, whatever it was. But the guys would fuck around.
Dom put that together?
Yeah, Dominic
Carino,
right?
Yeah. They used to put, like, if a guy ever complained or said anything, they would put 5-pound plates in there too, just to
not in a bad way. But I asked the guy, I says, "What's in this that it's so heavy?" He's like, "We got 2 of everything." I'm like, well, "You also need 2 hands to carry it." and guys, he told me, he's like, "You gotta be on the rig super quick here." I remember the tones went off. That dog you guys had, Red, fucking got
Red.
So not only am I bleeding in my boot now, I'm like, the dog just bit me.
It's a pit bull.
You guys told me to get on the rig super quick. I did that, and the fucking dog just bit me.
He's dead. Not available.
Now he's dead? Oh, poor Red.
He's dead. Yeah.
Not available for overtime.
So, yeah, I didn't have
that's Red there.
That was the first dog that was there when I was there. That was Duke. My dad owns a butcher shop, so they said, "You got any bones for Duke?" So I found this fucking dinosaur bone, and he carried that thing everywhere. The thing was tremendous, but he loved it. A lot of meat on that thing.
Oh, sure. Fucking
Talk about, Sally, before we forget, talk about Captain Higgins in the engine there. Like how
he was the assigned captain when I started covering in 120. That guy is like a warrior.
Old
school lieutenant there, captain there.
Awesome guy, man.
And
hockey guy.
He worked a lot of times. Always a smile on his face. I remember one of my first rough nights in Watkins Street. We probably did about 12, 13 runs after midnight. I'm fucking shot. And I'm drinking coffee in the kitchen, and, guys are starting to come in. Higgins is there. And I remember one of the guys went to Higgins. He's like, "What's up, Cap?" He's like, "What's up?" And he's like, "How was the night?" He's like, "Not bad." Not bad. What the fuck is that?
Dude, the guy was like 60.
I worked the same night with you, and I did 13 runs, and you had 13 runs too. Plus a couple
the EMS. Right, exactly.
What is this guy talking about? Not bad. I didn't say a word. I kept it to myself. I'm like, not bad. What the fuck is a good night?
Yeah, that's one of those things you don't want to speak out loud.
No,
dude. That guy would never complain. I know. I worked in the truck, and I felt bad a few times. Him running out the door for EM. I mean, one after the other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was an older guy.
Yeah, he was, but like a warrior. Like nothing fazed him. Like he kept going and running and running and running.
He loved it. And you said he was a lieutenant there. He came back for more punishment as a captain, right?
Yeah.
Like he loved it.
Yeah, a lot of times, guys get promoted. They're like, all right, now I can slow it down. He wanted to come right back into that,
wow,
grueling running around again. And like I said, he wasn't a young guy. He was an older guy, but cut from a different cloth, man, like old school.
Never complained. Never would say.
And I still see him. He still turns out to everything. What an absolute gentleman that guy is.
Yeah, he was a sweetheart. I remember he stuck out to me like, and then he played hockey because I used to play hockey in other.
Nobody cares about hockey. That includes everyone.
Yeah, his son was a Ranger, I believe, right?
His son was a Canadian, a Montreal Canadian, and he played for the Rangers for a short time. And I don't know if he's still in the NHL now, but yeah, he used to love that, obviously.
But he still comes to all the events and stuff like that. I see him. What an absolute gentleman. He really is.
What about the Squid?
He still comes around, Calamari. He's pure entertainment to talk to, man. I didn't get to work with him because, like I said, Chris Eisen was the captain when I started covering in Watkins Street. But he still turns out to all the events, and he is pure entertainment.
Character. 1-2-0 did a 4-4
about him. Dealing with people in the projects.
Oh my God!
Fucking had me in tears. The stories that I hear about how we talk to people and the Calamariisms and
oh my God, we had a list when he had him on. I think he did 3 hours when we had him on.
We had 3 shows for him, bro. He was
freaking out of his mind.
He was good though, man. The Calamari is good. So
yeah,
where do you think you enjoyed it better, as a fireman or as an officer?
I mean, I got as a fireman, I felt more as like a kid, like being a kid in a family, like almost like, you can kind of do what you want and have fun and goof around and stuff like that. But then when you become a lieutenant, you're almost like a parent now.
Right.
Where like you could have that fun, but you also got to have that little fine line between you and the guys. I loved hanging out in the kitchen. Like you could ask anyone in Watkins Street. I loved hanging out in the kitchen. I loved being part of the ball breaking, the kitchen atmosphere. I would have stayed there all night if I didn't have to, shut it down for a little bit. But I loved being in that mix and right. Hearing everything going on and the gossip, the rumor mill. I loved it all. And, part of me still wanted to be one of the guys where once in a while I'd be like, all right, now I got to go upstairs and do city time or
TPRs,
do lieutenant duties and
BI.
Yeah,
what? No.
BI and
Louis
do hydrants.
Louis doesn't know about BI. That's why we mentioned it.
But listen, I love, like I said, I love being a fireman. Being a boss was great because I was able to instill a little knowledge into the younger guys and give them some, training tips and little tactical tips at jobs. Watkins Street was a very young house. Guys didn't really stay there past 10 years. That was a huge promotion house. Guys always studied. They always had tremendous amounts of people on the promotion lists, and guys always got promoted. I mean, I remember one of the senior guys told me when I got there, they're like, you could probably do 10 years max here. And then you got to be like, I got to move on. I got to do something else, whether we get promoted, retire. Some guys go to SOC. But 10 years in Watkins Street, they said was enough to so-called, get promoted to lieutenant or go to Rescue 2 or go to a squad or, whatever it is to move on because, it was time to make room for the next guy. And it's a very, physically demanding house, no different than 103. You were there. I mean, you're in a ghetto truck as they call it. You're in a busy area with a lot of call volume. Every run you're doing something, a stuck elevator, it's a BS run, but you're physically getting off the rig and you're going up there and you're walking up and you're doing something. But it also teaches you so much. And that's why, the young kids going there, they learn so much from being there because of the experience that they got from the call volume, and the fire duty. It was really beneficial. And then if they went the promotion route, they were a well-rounded firefighter for wherever they went. And
how did they get along with the SOC units, 120?
For the most part, not bad. I mean, Rescue 2 really wasn't on top of us till the last couple of years when they moved on to Bergen. Moved off of Bergen onto Sterling. Yeah. So when they moved, they were kind of right on top of us, similar to like what 123 had to deal with for years. Now 120 had to deal with. And, they, for the most part, we got along, well with them. In the beginning, there was a little, growing pain here and there, but nothing that wasn't resolved, right away. And, we had respect for them. They had respect for us. And, we had a good understanding working relationship.
Got to beat them in. That's it.
Yeah, no, but like I said, that it was tough when they were right around the corner. We had our certain ways of going to certain boxes, and now they're new to the game. Not new to the game where they're on a box now, but they're much closer than they were, so they're going to get there that much sooner. So, it kind of caused.
Now you got to look out for them too. To see which way they're coming. You don't want them
100%.
In another accident.
Yeah, well, I don't need more accidents.
Oh
no. How many parts to Spiritu Santi?
Yeah, but like I said, it all worked out. They had their main thoroughfares that they usually try to stick on and stay with, and so we kind of knew on certain boxes where they'd be popping out of. So we knew that they were coming and stuff like that. And like I said, it all worked out. We got the job done. And
Sal, talk about Pitkin Avenue. Like that fucking, like, if you got fire on that block, right? It's just always some shit going on all the time on there, right?
Yeah, so those, not that I was there for a tremendous amount of time, but when I first started covering in 120 to towards the end, that Pitkin Avenue became so ridiculously congested. If you got a fire run at 3 p.m, it was unbearable to get through traffic. It was horrible. It was like it was just no one moved. No one could even go anywhere. Like you were literally at gridlock, and it was so frustrating because you get multiple calls loading up the box, and you're like, we can't fucking move, we can't go anywhere, and it was very frustrating. But Pitkin Avenue, you got a fire on Pitkin Avenue, those buildings were fucking death traps, man.
Dude, I had a few jobs on Pitkin. It was always, some shit going on. Like this door was locked or that door. Everywhere you went, like it was just always. Took off everywhere. It was just always some situation all the time.
They had an unwritten rule. No more than 10 minutes. If we're not making headway, we're out. We're getting out of the building. The modifications that were done on some of these buildings, steel plating. I mean, talk about overloaded.
It's always something. Always something.
And a lot of these windows have steel plates behind them. Exits are welded shut. Like it's a death trap. It really is. And, like I said, we had a thing. If 10 minutes we weren't making headway, we were getting the fuck out because we were going to be a fucking problem there, getting fucking ourselves in a bad situation. And that was the last thing we wanted to do. But Pitkin Avenue, whether it was traffic that you couldn't get through or the death traps in these buildings, it was definitely a challenge for the most part. That's those are the Three Amigos. That was one of my last tours. So obviously that's me on the left, and the guy to my right is Al Getz. He's the senior guy in 120.
You get
and the guy to his right is Chris Perticone, and we were known as Sal, Al, and the Pal. That was how they nicknamed us, Sal, Al, and the Pal. And Chris was like a little tag along with us, and me and Al were both in Group 24, so he was my seated chauffeur. We worked a lot together. We always had a great time, and he was a senior guy in 120. He's got 22 years now, I believe, and his plan is to be the longest ever ladder 120 firefighter in the history of Watkins Street. So he's saying, I think that earmark is 31 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow.
So he wants to do like 31 years in one day in Watkins Street to have that championship belt,
Wow.
Oh yeah.
And like I said, 10 years is a lot in Watkins Street. He wants to do 31.
Wow. Oh my God, dude.
Yeah. So
those are dog years.
And God bless him. And
man.
That kid Perticue was his father on the job?
I don't think so.
No? Okay.
No. Chris Perticone? No, I don't believe so. But so that was Sal, Al, and the Pal, man. And whenever we were working, they used to think it was very cute. They're like, Sal, Al, and the Pal here. And we definitely had a lot of laughs. Great guys, man.
I'm trying to remember who I was calling from 120 to try and get him on. Larry.
Schneckenberger?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the schools called up. They're like, we're having an event at the school. We want to know if you can bring the fire truck. I'm like, sure. I'm like, what time? They're like, now. So we go up. That's on Sutter Avenue. I remember we were going down Mother Gas, and we went down Sutter, and we see animals fucking running around the street. What is going on? I'm like, are these animals? They're like, no, can you get that? Like a little fucking horse running around. I'm like, what is this? So we got the thing on the sidewalk, and we're like, let's take a group picture. If you can see, we're holding it. And we took a quick shot with the horse, and it was a lot of laughs, man. The kids get one on the fire truck, and we did a little community relations. I'm not sure what the animals were for because, like, I don't know if the kids were riding on them or what the hell was going on, but the whole thing was bizarre. It wasn't very well.
Nothing. I tell you one thing. Even in the fire department, nothing. Anywhere you work in the fire department, I would say nothing surprises you, right? No. But even over there, like it just amped up a little bit more that nothing would surprise you. Like it's just like when you're in it's just crazy. What
the Wild West?
Yeah, it's the Wild West. It's just absolutely insanity.
Because I'm telling the lady, I says, there's like animals walking in the streets. They're like, no, we got that for the kids. I'm like, I understand that, but I think they're supposed to be like hooked into something. They're gonna get hit by a fucking car.
Yeah.
Holy Christ!
It was pretty funny.
It's like Bizarro world out there, bro.
It really is.
We saw this one already, right? This is
yes.
Yeah, okay.
It really is.
I was want to make sure we got the group shots in because I got.
So what makes you want to pack it in then, Sal?
Honestly, my plan was to probably do close to 25 years, and I went to go see Al Connolly just for curiosity.
Never go.
And I had a lot of overtime. Like my overtime was through the roof because they were down in the lieutenant's rank, and I had over 1,200 hours.
Wow.
And he went over my numbers, and they were talking about mass promoting lieutenants, which they're actually doing right now. They're flooding the ranks. They're doing 64 lieutenants at a clip, back to back to back to back. So that they're getting rid of all these vacancies because the overtime is astronomical. I mean, you have lieutenants making more money than a staff chief, and I don't think downtown was happy about that.
They never.
So I ran my numbers, and Al asked me a question. He's like, "Are you ever going to be like?" I told him I'm not ready. I'm not sure. I'm ready to go now. And that's exactly what I said to him. He's like, "Are you going to be ready in 5 years?" I'm like, "I'm not so sure. I don't think I'm ever going to be ready."
No.
He's like, "So you got to ask yourself, if you're not going to be ready today, and you're not going to be ready in 5 years, you're not going to be ready in 10 years. What are you waiting for? Like to get hurt and God forbid never be able to work again? Well, God forbid get killed. Like so." I had my hours, but my final salary was astronomical, and I'm like, you know what? If I could lock this in, and lock it in for life, and I'm still healthy, I'm in my 40s. Like I did 23 years total. I did 21 with the fire, 2 with the EMS, which I bought back. I did 23 years. My kids are still young. I says I can make this really work for me and run with it. And
it wasn't like you earned it. You didn't earn it. You did. Think about how many run if you got paid by the run with that money.
Yeah.
I think you're losing money.
Yeah. But that's just it, and I kept telling myself that I said I'm gonna be like as much as it sucks to have to cut the cord now and leave the fire department, that feeling is always going to be there.
Yeah.
It's not gonna ever not be there.
No.
In
matter how far you
5 years, if I waited, all I did is I pushed the envelope further down.
And you might only have 200 hours then.
That's exactly why. And Al said that. He's like, if they start getting rid of the overtime, you might wind up giving money back.
Right.
And I'm like, whoa, what do you mean giving money back? He's like, if you have 1,200 hours now, and next year you have 400, and the year after that you have 300, your average just went down astronomical. You might be giving back 30 to 40 grand. I'm like, whoa, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
I says, you know what? I'm gonna do it.
Right.
I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it on my terms, and I did. And do I miss the firehouse? Absolutely. I miss the guys. I popped in there a couple times just to say hello. But the reality is there's always something going on that brings you back to that feeling of being part of that crew again.
Yeah.
Whether
it's the show.
Yeah. Whether it's
kind of like the show. Sorry, but I didn't mean to cut you off. No. I was trying to work in the show here a little bit. That's what we're doing, the kitchen table, Sorry, go ahead.
No. But whether it's promotions where I'm going to hang out with the guys, whether it's Christmas
Boys' night out, right?
it's the
Reunions.
picnic. Every time I go up to one of these events, it's like I never left. I pick up right where I left off, and the same guys are there, and the same conversations, and I'm like right back in the mix. It's like I never left. The only thing that's different now is I don't have to wake up in the morning or wake up in the middle of the night to go on a stuck elevator or, you know, or another run. Listen,
I say that all the time. So think about how that until you retire, right? You never think about how long you're going to live on, you know, when you're on the job, you never think about that. You had all your bunker gear on all the time. Nobody gave a shit about, none of that stuff. As soon as you retire, now you're like, oh shit, if you waited till you were 63 or whatever, it's a little late. You know what I mean? I think, I love the job and I wanted to do it, but I also want to have some time to enjoy my, make all the Christmases and all the fucking track meets and everything,
I'm super close to Bobby Sarno.
Never heard of him.
He was on your show.
And like in the chat.
That he's a fucking legend too. That guy's a warrior. And I remember he relieved me one day in 283 in the morning. He's like, "How was the night?" I said, "It's fucking horrible." I said, "We ran all night long." I'm like, "I don't know how you do this shit." And like, he did CPR 3 times in the middle of the night. 3 times, an hour a clip. I said, "Bobby, this is like a torture chamber here." and like, I gotta give him credit, man. That guy stayed till the end. He did.
That guy loves it. You love it. I love it. Coops loves it. Gonzo loves it. That guy loved it.
Yeah.
He did, but the funniest thing about Sarno is I remember I'm like, "What do you got planned for retirement?" He's like, "I'm finally gonna get my hip done." I'm like, "What? Who the fuck says that? What are you looking forward to as a retirement?" "I can't wait to get my hip replaced." Like, you should have done that while you were working, man.
Yeah.
But like, that's how that guy is. Like, like I wasn't a medical leave guy. And actually, as a matter of fact, I never tapped out as lieutenant. As crazy as that sounds, I know people are going to say that's anti-union, whatever it is. I never tapped out as a lieutenant. A few times as a fireman, I did. They actually put me on medical leave because I had COVID during the COVID, pandemic, and I had to go out for that, obviously. But I never tapped out. Not saying I never got hurt, but it just I love going to work. I didn't want to play the whole VHS game. I loved being able to go to work, go to fires, fucking rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
And like I said, I didn't get 3/4. I retired regular, and the money was a little bit of most of the incentive to pull the trigger. But I got to tell you, the feeling of going down to hand my paper in was probably one of the worst feelings ever.
Yeah,
it sucked, and I felt nauseous. As a matter of fact, like I wanted to throw up, because like as much as people would kill to have this job, I'm quitting basically.
Yeah.
And it's a crazy concept, but everybody has to pull that cord eventually. Everybody, whether it's because of a medical injury or you voluntarily retiring, everybody has to cut that cord sooner or later.
How you adjusting?
It's good. Listen, I have 2 young kids. I have an 11-year-old and a 13-year-old. I'm literally going to every single event that they have, whether it's a track meet or lacrosse game or flag football. Like, it's awesome. I'm not missing a second of their childhood.
There you go.
That has some value to it. It really does.
There's a lot of
value. Has all the value.
Exactly.
It really does. And like, they're going to be 18. They're going to go off to college and go their own way. And then they're not going to want to know me. But at least for the next 5 to 7 years, with the 11 and 13-year-old, I'll be 24/7 a part of their childhood, part of their, extracurricular activities, sports,
absolutely.
or, I haven't missed a single thing since I retired for them. I went to my son's art show the other day, my daughter's track meet. I can't tell you. I don't have to tell you guys. You guys know I missed so much shit because I wanted to work overtime. I wanted to make money. I wanted to do this. It was all good, intentional stuff, but you can't have both. You can't be at the track meet and work overtime in 120. It just doesn't work.
And you don't get that.
If you stay to 63, right, before they kick you out, you miss everything. They wrote the song about that, The Cats in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon, right? You missed, my boy was just like me. You miss everything. So what's worth that money? Nothing.
What I appreciate too is the everyday stuff. Getting up in the morning and having breakfast with my boys. Being home when they come home from school. The simple stuff. Not only the track meets and all that other shit, but the everyday shit that you didn't have.
I just hit a year out now. I retired March 1 of 24, and I just hit a year this past March.
Takes a little while. It's a little bit more to get used to it, you know.
Yeah, I have dreams once in a while that I miss the run.
We have this conversation all the time.
Every time, boy. Bring it ahead.
Every time.
Ask the question. Here we
Every
go.
single guy. I was going to ask you, do you have the dream where you miss a run? Yeah.
All the time. And I'm like, I asked my wife, and
Can't find your gear, your boots.
About?
Yeah, right.
That I missed the run. They left without me. I'm like, fuck. And I just go back to bed.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's funny. I went for a physical not too long ago with my doctor, and I lost 20 pounds since last year. So I lost 20 pounds since I've been retired. And, like, I didn't change anything with my eating habits. I'll be honest with you. I just don't go to the firehouse and eat all that delicious donuts and cakes. Like, I remember one day my wife said, she's like, how are you fat? And I'm like, she's like, we eat so healthy at home. Like, she makes fucking quinoa, grilled chicken. Like, she's like, how are you fat? We don't have any bad food in the house. And I'm like, it's not really here that I'm eating bad. I go to work and, like, you know, I ate dinner and then someone will be like, oh, someone just dropped off a crave case. And I'm like, oh, I got to try those cheeseburgers. And, like, there's no filter when I'm at the firehouse. And, like,
no routine. You're eating at all different times.
And you're eating at night, late at night.
Late at night.
Late at night. You're up all night. You're running around. You know, Watkins Street was notorious for having tons and tons of ice cream in the freezer.
I was just going to say the ice cream in the freezer, bro.
So, you know, I'd go help myself to that. And then there you go. Lemon. They got a tub from Lemon Ice King and Corona. And that was my thing. I loved ices. Loved them. So, you know, so basically when I retired, I took all of that out of the mix now, and whatever my wife makes for dinner now is what I'm eating. And I lost 20 pounds.
Bust out the fucking Speedos again, bro.
Yeah, they're coming out. That was my last tour, man. What an unbelievable turnout, and I couldn't thank these guys enough. They literally all came out, you know, to be part of my last tour, and it was an awesome night, and I couldn't thank these guys enough. You know, from day one, from making me part of the Watkins Street family to the last day that I worked, to you know, to my last run with these guys. Like, you know, they were the absolute best, and it was a privilege to be their officer. These guys made me shine every day, and you know, I really I couldn't have been more fortunate to work with these guys. That was my last roll call. And, you know, I told these guys, you know, how, you know, every day is a learning experience, you know, and to take in as much as you can, because, you know, you will only learn and become a better firefighter by doing things, by asking questions, by learning by your mistakes, unfortunately, sometimes. And that's what will make you a good firefighter. You know, the tradition in Watkins Street is like no other. It really isn't. And, you know, that's why a lot of their fathers have their sons working there now. There's a lot of legacy kids there because their father witnessed firsthand how wonderful that place was. They wanted the kid to have part of that you know, experience. Yeah, that was it, man. That was when I hung it up. And like I said, I couldn't have been, you know, more thankful to have, you know, Chris Iser bring me in there from day one to try me out. You know, he's a tough cookie, man. You got to really impress him to stick out. And I guess I made the cut.
You made the cut, bro.
You know, he left, like I said, unfortunately. Mike Thompson was the next captain. He you know, kept me there, which was awesome. You know, he was great. He was a captain there for a few years. Then Danny Kudlak, he was my 24 partner. I was opposite the captain. So I always worked my 24s around the captain, you know, me and him. So Danny Kudlak, he's a chief now. He was a captain for a little bit. I had 4 captains while I was there. And Scott Coyne. Scotty Coyne was a lieutenant there. You guys probably remember him. And he went back there as a captain. Great guy, man. What a wealth of knowledge. Knows that area like no other. His father was in Watkins Street. He's an awesome guy, captain. Die hard Watkins Street. You know, he was a lieutenant there in the engine at first. Then he went to the truck, got promoted, made his way back because that's how much that house meant to him. And it was great to have him back, you know, as the captain when I was peers with him as lieutenant. Billy Rogers, great lieutenant. You know, did a lot of time. They did about 10 years there. I took his spot when he got made. So he was great. And then I had the other two lieutenants that were there when I was there, Donnie Gleason and Danny Quinn, both lieutenants when I was there pretty much for the majority of the time during my stay in Watkins Street. And those guys were great. I don't know if you guys know, I was kind of a Minuteman with my relief. I always wrote it out.
In the same sentence.
I always wrote it out. I always rode till the bell, but I also didn't always get to work early. I got there. I wasn't really late, but I kind of got there 5:30 on the night tour and 8:30 in the morning. But a lot of the guys wrote it out. But I just want to thank those guys for waiting for me for all those years when I was coming in for the tour. But like I said, I rode till the end every day because that's how much I loved being there. And, hoping there was a lot of last minute jobs right before the end of the tour. I'm sure you guys experienced those, it paid to ride it out. Not only, whether it was for the late run or whatever.
I was going to say overtime. You knew you were getting, if you worked in those companies, you were getting a late run. So
100%, whether it was a stuck elevator you were going to get a late run on or a job, that's what that was the golden goose. If you got a job at 5:30 because you wrote it out, it was definitely a bonus.
That was the double whammy. Cash
bell to bell, baby, bell to bell.
Bell to bell, yeah. So it was definitely good. And those busy companies, late runs were notorious.
Sally Beggs, we finally got him.
Great job, man. Great career, great story. Sure. Appreciate it.
A lot of runs, Sal. Too many runs.
A lot of runs.
Nah.
Is it that?
It might be that time. Why you all tan?
Because I was on the boat this weekend.
Another cruise. He's all tan. Look at him.
I went solo.
I won't even ask. All right.
Yeah.
Yes,
it is that time. It is this time for the old school tip.
Oh,
the
day.
All right, buddy, take it away.
So so my old school tip of the day is I would advise every firefighter who's on the job to never shortchange yourself. One thing I regret, although I was a lieutenant, I wanted to make it to captain eventually, and unfortunately, I did pass the test, but not high enough where I was in promotable range. And I just want to, from experience, tell you that if you are ever thinking about going up through the ranks, give it 100%. I didn't give the captain test enough time that it deserved, and I got the score that I deserved, but no fault except my own as to why I never got promoted to captain. So I always hear stories of guys like, I wish I would have studied harder. I wish I would have taken that test. I wish I would have went to SOC. If you want to do something on this job, do it. Go all out. Do 100, 110%. Put your mind to it. If you want to take that next test, whether it's lieutenant, captain, chief, study your ass off. Rock the test. This way, you're not in this limbo area like I was in for the captain's test, where am I going to get promoted? Am I not going to get promoted? If you want to go to a squad, you want to go to rescue, don't let anyone talk you out of it. Don't let anyone, you want to go work with those guys. This is your career. This is the only person that should matter to is you. Don't do things in your career because other people are telling you to do it. Do it because you want to do it and make yourself happy. You only got one shot at this, and the one shot has to count. So if there's ever something that you want to do, whether it's, go to another company, whether it's want to go to SOC, you want to study, you want to get promoted, do it. Do it. Don't let anyone talk you out of it. Do it and do it well and do it right, and you will get that next step in your career, like whether it's promotion or whether it's special transfer to the work it, special training. Do it, because this career will come and go so quick. And I can tell you firsthand, I didn't do 30, 40 years. I did 23 years, and that went quick. They tell you in probie school, your career is going to fly by. And I can honestly tell you that it flew by. It flew by. I am so thankful that I got to work with the people I did and the companies I did, from Corona to Watkins Street. I worked with the elite of the elite, man. And I am so grateful for it. And I have zero regrets with my career. Was I hoping to get promoted to captain? Yeah, absolutely. But it didn't work out. But you know what? By not getting promoted, I got to stay in Watkins Street. So that's kind of a blessing within itself, you know. And like I said, go after it. Don't let anything prevent you from doing it. You want something, go get it. Go out and get it, and it'll be yours. And you'll thank yourself at the end, because the way that you got there is the way that you deserve to get there. And you will be very grateful that you could look back one day and be like, you know what? That paid off. I'm glad I did that. It was beneficial not only to me, but the people I got to work with, the people that you bring your knowledge to. You know, you go to SOC, it's not, you know, it's other people who you were going to work with are not going to benefit from your presence there, because you have a wealth of knowledge that you bring with you wherever you go, you know, and that's what makes this job awesome. You know, is the colleagues that we work with, the peers that we work with. Everyone brings something to the table. And when everyone brings something to the table, you have a table full of knowledge, a table full of experience. And that's what makes this job so special. And the teamwork all pays off in the end because of everyone's level of experience, level of knowledge, and what they have to offer. And the fact that we work together is amazing. And the FDNY has never been able to not get something accomplished. And that's because of everyone's dedication, everyone's hard work, everyone's commitment, everyone's desire. And it pays off. And that's why this is the greatest fire department in the world, is because of all this. And it shows. And I'm glad that I could tell everyone that I ever meet who doesn't know that I was part of the FDNY. And, you know, I hope I left an impact there, because it definitely left an impact on me. So I thank them.
Amen.
Department, and thank you guys.
Yeah, no worries.
Sally, guys like you is what makes this job perfect. Guys like you.
Dennis Smith, he said on the show with us, what did he say, Coobs? He's like, I could do anything because I am FDNY trained.
That's right. Yeah.
There's never been a scenario that we couldn't overcome or get through.
No.
Ever.
Yep.
We make shit happen.
Yeah, there's no doubt. That was a great line that he had.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's it. Any shout outs we got?
We have Harrisburg, and you're going to do anything for Friends of Firefighters?
Yes, put that up for Friends of Firefighters, please.
Yeah, sure. Here we go.
We'll put the description and the link below. Yes. They're having the chili cook-off. Thanks for the support, guys. It's helping them out a lot, but we still need to give more to keep those doors open. So save the date, Friday, May 16th, 6 to 9, 9th annual FDNY chili cook-off. We'll put the guys. We can put that in the link below, right?
It's in the. It's already in the chat now, and here it is here.
Excellent. Give border.
So yeah.
Excellent.
They need the help, guys. Get in there.
Definitely need the help, but it's well worth it. And of course, Louie and I will be in Harrisburg. We will not have a show next week. We will be in Harrisburg. Come down and see me and the Roofopotamus. I'll save the date, the 16th and the 17th, down in the Expo.
That's Amish country.
It is Amish.
I love to see the Amish. Yeah, they come with their pagers and their suspenders. But come and see me and Ruffy. We'll be down there. Grab a drink with us, maybe. I'll be gimping around. Ruffy will be doing most of the work. Sal, great career, man. Glad I know you.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure, guys.
Excellent. Gons, you look great. Tan, the hair's
great.
I'm
trying. Yeah. Really quick, did we have a couple of LODDs, or since somebody passed away, was it the captain from Engine Company 8? I don't know. Did they learn LODD?
We did that. We did the 5s for him.
We did?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. If not, we'll get it together and we'll do it the next show.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Tantopotamus. Sal, great job, man.
Thank you, guys. Thanks again. And
enjoy your retirement.
Great, man.
Yeah, enjoy it. Nice. Just let us know when you wake up and you can't find your gear. Okay, it's one thing missing a run. Let us know about the gear.
That's my gear. All right, guys. Until not next week, the following week. Stay low and go.
All right, everybody. We'll see you at the big one. Thank you again, Sal.
Thank you.
Guys. All right, guys. Thanks, Sal. Have a good night. Thanks for everybody tuning in, and we'll see you soon. Remember, we're rolling heavy down here in South Florida, baby.
There you go.